And you won Are You the One?
Well, I scammed Are You the One?
That'll be a nice angle. Oh, welcome. This is Howie Mandel Does Stuff. I'm Howie Mandel. And Tai, how do you pronounce it?
Tai Verdes.
Tai Verdes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying Tai Verdes, but it's Tai Verdes.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm a huge fan. And if you don't know him yet, you're going to know him. And if you don't know him yet, I think you do know him and you heard him and didn't know it was Tai Verdes. And the Tai Verdes crew is in the house. You know, you're sitting on, that's the front row of the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. That was the original front row seats.
Wow.
From the Tonight Show.
I like that.
Yeah, and I guess we're on your, what is this? What are you doing? Like there's a camera guy here taking, what is that for?
You know, content. I think content is really important, especially for an artist that's, you know, trying to do something.
So this is, I'm going to be in the content?
You're going to be in the content.
So this is, am I on TikTok? Am I on Instagram? What is it? What is this for?
I think you have to be all purpose.
That's where I found you. You know that.
Oh, TikTok.
You know that.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, in the beginning, I think everyone found me from, you know, random videos I was posting. But then once, you know, the form of that content became what we, you know, share as, you know, internet content now, aka the video scrolling method. Not only was it on, you know, TikTok, it became Instagram Reels, which turned into YouTube Shorts, which turned into Snapchat Spotlight, which turned into like the
now
new
you're telling
medium.
us the future of digital.
Well, I mean, it's already here.
No, I know, but I found you on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the point.
Yeah,
but my daughter, who wanted to be here, was already a fan of yours. You know that.
Shit. Yeah.
By a different name, on a different show.
Oh.
She knows you from a dating show.
Yes, exactly.
on MTV.
Yes.
Find the One, You're the One.
Are You the One?
Are You the One?
Mm-hmm.
And you won Are You the One?
Well, I scammed Are You the One?
What do you mean?
I mean, I went on the show. Well, but basically my whole entire thing for going on that show was I had just dropped out of college, and I was like, how can I make how can I make the most money possible doing the least amount of work? Right?
Which is everybody's goal.
Which is everybody's goal.
That's
right?
what we should title this episode. How to make the most amount of money with the least amount of work. And we're about to get it right now. How do you make more money without doing it?
Well, to be honest, I think it's basically double downing on your strengths. And I think school was not my strength, but I think that I was always...
Dating?
No, it wasn't dating. It was being a personality at that time. I was like, I could look at what I saw on TV and be like, okay, this person is interesting because of this, this, and this. And at the time, I was doing things like I did some stand-up comedy. I didn't get as far.
You did stand-up?
I did stand-up for a little bit.
Are you about to say you didn't get as far as me?
Yeah, I didn't get as far as you, but I got into the part of where it's like, you know, you go to Flappers and you perform 5 minutes. You know, you go to the 2-minute slot and then you go up to the 5-minute slot.
Right.
And then right when I was getting into the 7 and 10 minute, I was like, I don't like the process of going up on stage and kind of working out which jokes are better.
Because that's work.
It's a work, and also it's like the process of the work, right? Like, do you love that process? If you're a real comedian, you love that process. I don't love that process.
Isn't it like writing music?
No, because I can go and I can get into an area and get into a space and work on it myself and impress myself, and then I don't really have to think about the audience. I just make it myself, and then I create taste. It's like you're a tastemaker instead of like, I think that as a comedian, it's kind of like a lot of throwing stuff at the wall and getting immediate feedback to where like, I know that if I get the best guitar player in the world on my song, it's kind of, if you don't like this, you're stupid. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. And in comedy, it's more like subjectiveness and like.
I think music is also, but it's probably because you have more of a passion for music than you do for comedy.
Yeah, true. But I think that like when I watch comedy, I can tell when someone has like had that like crazy 10 years, 20 years, 30 years in front of an audience, just like doesn't matter where they are. They can like go riff into a side joke. They can go riff into crowd work. They can go riff into whatever. In music, you have one chance to show somebody a song and you can really go into the studio and make, 12 versions of it and figure out what is the best version to you, make your taste how you want it, and then continue to put out stuff like that. Well, I mean, I think they're different mediums. There's definitely similarities. Like I think that the coolest part about the similarities is like concepts in general, like premises. I think premises are really cool.
So we'll talk about that, but let's follow. So you quit college.
Yeah.
You're not. Where are you from?
I'm from LA.
You're born and raised?
Yeah. So I lived in Palos Verdes, Tai Verdes. You know. So I lived there for a little bit. Yeah.
What's your real name?
My real name is Tyler Cologne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is also a cool name.
Yeah, but I think that for me, I don't really want it to, with artistry, I don't really bring it to like myself. I don't know why. I just wanted to make a name just because I think that people will, I love the fact that you can tell people what you want to be called every single time. I've changed my name a bunch of times.
Really?
Yeah, it was Tyler Cologne, and then before Tai Verdes, it was Tyler Verdes for a little like tiny minute. Then it was like, before that, it was like Tyler semicolon, because my name Cologne, Colon, is colon.
Can we on this podcast change your name? I mean, is there any way to?
You have to kind of put some thought and premise in it.
I'll be thinking about it maybe by the end.
Maybe by the end. I might change my name again. Like people don't know that like that's a part of my thing is changing my name. So like I could be the new Diddy. Who knows?
The new Diddy.
Yeah.
Just not Diddy.
Yeah, not Diddy because he's P. Diddy, Puff Daddy. You know what I'm saying? He's changed his name a bunch of times.
Viddy. Verdes.
Yeah. I'm Viddy now.
Yeah. T Viddy.
T Viddy. That's my
T Viddy.
We figured it out.
We got
name.
it. Okay, so you come out here and you come up to LA, up to LA.
Yeah.
And you want to make a lot of money, but you don't want to work hard.
Not necessarily make money. I think that I just wanted to be self-sufficient. I don't like making any decision based off of money. I just want to be able to do the reason why I get money is to do whatever I want. There's a point where like the money is controlling you, and I don't like that point.
Okay, so the goal was when you came down here
to do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah.
Okay, so and what was the first how do you get into a dating show?
Exactly. So basically, I just I had been posting like, okay, first of all, be a model. That was the thing. Just like look good, I guess. And
I know I went through that too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when I first came. The first year and a half, I was a supermodel, and that
I think everyone moves into LA and then become a supermodel the first day because it's like the first thing you do is just go outside and take pictures of yourself, and then maybe you make it, maybe you don't. It's really easy.
Wait, you just decided to be a model? Did somebody tell you? I mean, you're a good-looking guy. What did somebody tell you or approach you to model, or you looked in the mirror and went, "Shit, world's got to see this"?
I think a lot of it is just because I have the confidence. If I see somebody doing something, I know that there's no way that they can be better at me than that if I try my entire all into something, So
you started modeling?
Yeah, because
how do you get into that?
Because I see other people and I'm like, oh, it's just pictures. All right, I can do that shit. Let me just take some pictures, And I also was an athlete for a long time. I played with I know that a lot of people say, oh, I busted my knee, but I was on the court with people that were on NBA teams that are on NBA teams right now, like NBA All-Stars and people that play.
Who did you play with?
Do you know Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah.
So I played with him in high school, and I was in all those Nike leagues, Adidas leagues. I went to Under Armour. I did all that stuff. I was playing at a really high level. But then
were you pursuing that?
That was the first thing I was doing because I was a basketball player that
was 6 foot.
Yeah, I'm 6'7", and then sometimes I'll lie and say I'm 6'8" if I have my hair out.
You lie about your height?
I mean, I don't really need to.
I know. Why would somebody 6'7" want to say they're 6'8"? Like, how does that get you into something that you weren't getting into at 6'7"?
I mean, sometimes I lie and say I'm 5'2", just because people ask, and then I just want to mess with them,
So you're pursuing. You're in high school. Did you go to college on a basketball scholarship?
I went to college so basically I had scholarships, but then I did the typical thing, broke my foot, broke my fifth metatarsal. And then after that, it was either I had an offer to go to UC Irvine for like a 5-year deal for 4 years or something like that. Or I could go to I could pay my way to go to like a I don't know, if I had some test score thing where it was like, oh, if you retake the SAT and get this score, you can go to these Ivy League schools if you want to, but they don't pay. I wasn't one of the people that was going to get one of those scholarships. So then I was like, okay, I don't want to be spending money like this. The easiest way to do it is just go to something that I actually believed into, which was like entrepreneurship. So I went to Babson College, and my dad was really supportive of it, so he paid for it. And at Babson College, how they do it is your classes are, you start a business, like you literally start a business. So they'll give 10 students $5,000 and you make something. And you go through, like what we made as a group was like this collapsible coffee cup. And I actually got in trouble when I was marketing it because I was like, okay guys, what if we at the time Tinder was really big and was popping. So I was like, what if we put Tinder on this, what if we put a coffee cup on Tinder as like a person and gave it a personality and students around, because college students use Tinder, it would be marketing. I got in trouble for that idea.
Why?
because
it's coffee. It should be on Grinder.
This is why he's a professional, everybody. This is why he's a professional, everybody. But but exactly. So the college didn't want to be associated with a dating app.
The college didn't want to be associated with a dating app.
But it's not like anybody knew about this shit.
But if you're going to entrepreneurial school, I think that's a very entrepreneurial idea. You know, engaging somebody else and collaborating with something even bigger than you are to get the mark. Didn't you get the marks for that?
Well,
no appreciation?
No, I got in trouble.
What's trouble? What did they do?
They stopped the class. They stopped the entire project. There's 3 groups of people, and they said in like this big amphitheater, like, whoever is doing this, you need to stop. And I didn't raise my hand because I ain't no snitch. You know, I'm not gonna snitch on myself. But like,
is it a snitch if you don't tell on yourself, or if you tell on yourself?
Whatever it is, I was not taking ownership of that because I was like, first of all, I'm a very much fuck college in general. I was only there to play basketball.
Fuck college.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you make T-shirts?
No, but I think that's
a good T-shirt. Fuck college.
But yeah,
I'm always thinking merch.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I mean, me too.
And we could sell those T-shirts on Tinder.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're there.
Fuck college.
Fuck college.
And then you change your name to college.
And
see,
exactly,
it works 2 ways.
This formula is unbeatable.
I know. So go ahead. So that they took away the $5,000 and they took away
they let me do it. It's just that I had to take this shit off Tinder. So I mean,
did you make money?
I talked to the head of our group and I was like, I don't want to do anything, and she was like, okay. And then I was like, I'll just take a C or whatever you want to give me for the project, because I just was in a space where I didn't have the time to really care about 2 things at once. And I don't think anybody in the world.
What were you thinking about?
I was still trying to make it to the NBA after I broke my foot. So I like went, I was going and I was playing in the gym all the time. I was like really trying. And then once I started getting benched because of seniority, which is how a lot of Division III schools work. Babson College is a Division III school. They play in the NEPSAC. And I was at one of the best Division III colleges. The year after I left, they won the Division III national championship. And we had like this guy his name's Joey Flannery. Shout out to Joey. He's a great player. But he was the Division III national player of the year twice. And I was playing behind him. And I think I didn't have what it took to sit on the bench for 2 years before he left and then play after him. I just didn't have that time. I think time is really precious, and I think
you didn't have the patience, not the time. You have the time. You're young. You just didn't have the patience.
I just don't think I have the time. I really don't. Like, I think that everyone is lying to everybody and saying that 80 years is a long time or whatever the fuck the average.
No, I'm telling you, I'm an old guy. There's no time, but it's patience.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are waiting, but waiting, you realize you're pretty smart. So you decide that you can't wait. You leave college.
Yeah.
And are you doing music at the time? Like, is it a side thing? You're probably taking piano lessons as a kid.
Yeah, I was taking piano lessons for 13 years. I took a little guitar, but I stopped. And then ukulele, I did ukulele for 4 years. And then, for me, it was all about just,
But that wasn't in your mind at the time as a career. That was just a hobby, or were you forced to take lessons as a kid?
I mean, my parents did a lot of things that were, I think, really amazing. They put me in piano lessons. I got, tutoring. I was like, I was the type of kid that, like, even though I didn't like college, I did like math. I don't like the subjectiveness of like English, but I do like when things have a natural answer. Like, I got all the way up to like, college calculus and stuff like that. So that was where I like loved it.
And were they supportive of you walking away from college?
No, they hated it. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. That's why I didn't.
Did you have a
money.
plan when you walked away?
When I had a plan,
Did you have a plan? You said, I'm leaving college and here's what I'm going to do.
I was going to sign up for junior college and do...
I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. The reason why I did that is because they were like lording over me the fact that they were paying for college, because Babson is not cheap. That shit's like $60K, probably $70K now. And they were saying like, you are not trying your best for the effort. And I agreed with them. So I was like, okay, this is not matching our goals. I need to go to junior college, and where the fucking tuition's $5,000 or whatever, and just take college classes, maybe get into the program that takes you to USC after 2 years, or UCLA or whatever, or UC Irvine, one of the UCs.
So you're leaving a 4-year program for a 2-year program.
Yep, exactly. And then after that, I was like, man, I don't even like junior college that much, because I had to take these subjective classes where I fulfilled all my math requirements, but you have to take like history of art, history of English, history. I don't want to learn any of that.
And when does it come in handy if that's not what you're going to do? Like, when do you use that again?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not patient, right? I'm not patient, and I don't want to put in that, tedious. It feels like
So
like
you leave.
Work. Yep.
So you leave, and the plan is, how'd you get on the dating show?
Well, I started doing a lot of shows, reality TV shows. I did Jubilee, if you know what that is.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's this YouTube series where they do like it was just basically me trying to get a platform, right? That's when
What's Jubilee? What do you do on Jubilee? Do you guys know Jubilee? My guys,
Jubilee,
Kyle?
Jubilee Media. It's like those social experiment videos where you do like where it's like 100 people in a room and they tell them like, okay, if you
100 people in one room?
Yeah, and they
I would leave that room. That alone is a social experiment. 100, that's a big room.
Yes. Well, it'd be like, okay, 10 guys, one girl dates all the guys based on their music taste, and they don't get to talk to them. They just have to play
based on music.
Yeah.
You're trying to get laid just with your guitar.
No, I never did that.
You
but
just
that's
said you
a
were on
video.
Jubilee.
Yeah, but I did the video where it was like, okay, there's a sheet between you two.
A sheet?
Yeah, a sheet between you two, yes.
Like Hasidic Jews. Do you know Hasidic Jews, when they have sex, they put a sheet on top of the girl with a hole. So it was a Hasidic Jubilee.
Whoa.
Oh, Jubilee. Now I get it. It's a Jubilee.
This man is so wild. I love it.
Okay. Okay, there's a sheet between you two, so that you can't see each other.
Yeah, so you can't see. So basically, you're dating people on your voice. And if you go like Jubilee 10v1, it was like 10v1 V series or whatever.
Is this on YouTube right now?
Yeah, it's on YouTube right now. I think.
What would we look up to know if it's you? You're not under. It's a different name.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But it's
so based on your voice.
Yeah, based
what
on
would
your
you
voice.
say? A lot of people are listening to this. This is audio too, besides watching on YouTube. What was your line to get the girl to date you through the sheet?
I mean, I wasn't really trying to get anyone to date me. That's the thing.
You went to college, but you didn't really try. You went to junior college, and you didn't really try.
Yep. I
I asked how you got on the dating show. I didn't really want to do that. So the fact is,
America's Got Talent. I didn't really want to be on the show.
You didn't try. Did you try?
I did. I tried to be on the show, but it was like I was just trying to hear a yes. That was all I was trying to hear, because if I got a yes,
Did we say no?
Yes, multiple times. I tried 4 years in a row.
To get on America's Got Talent.
Yes, I did.
And they said no.
Well, I kind of made it like a thing where it was like it helped me practice my songwriting, because What did
you enter with? What did you tell them?
So I was going to be I entered as a singer, and what I did was I went, and after the first year of not going into like, even when I was on Are You the One, I'd still go back from Are You the One and still go back to
AGT?
AGT and audition, because I wanted to hear some producer look at me sing and say yes. That's all I wanted. Because
what did you sing? A cover?
Yeah, no, I sang my own original songs.
Any one that's a hit right now?
No. This is back when the thing is, there's a reason why they said no. I was not good back then. You know, I would sing one song a year. I'd like make it my, okay, this is where I write a song this year, and I try to get it going. And then I wouldn't practice my singing at all. I wouldn't practice my vocals or anything. I just go and I'd think I could get by on like whatever my half-assed, 3 weeks of practice were, So it was, you guys made the right decision for sure. I was booty cheeks, I was not good, so it was like
booty cheeks.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a judge. I've never said that to somebody. Can I use that?
Yeah, when you go up and you're like, you are booty cheeks, get off my stage,
Booty cheeks is ass?
Yeah, but you're ass. You're not good. Yeah.
But a lot of people like booty cheeks. So that could be a positive.
You know what? I think that whether you say it or not, you're going to get some fans.
Booty cheeks.
Yeah, booty cheeks.
Okay, so you auditioned for AGT. You got on You Are the One. You won. You said you scammed it. How did you scam it?
Because when you go on
What season were you?
Season 6.
Season 6.
Yeah.
And your name on that show was?
Tyler. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I was just Tyler for a second on Are You the One? Yeah. So anyways, how they do it on Are You the One is there's a lot of producers, right?
Right.
And how pretend this is a person, right? And this is a Melissa. And
what are we looking at? What's the Melissa?
Mic. Pretend this mic is Melissa, right?
Okay, that mic is Melissa.
Yeah, and
for those that aren't watching on YouTube, he's pointing at a mic right next to him. That could be Melissa.
Yeah.
Jeremy, is there something? What do you, Jeremy? What are you signaling about? You'll get a shot of Melissa.
Yeah, get a
close up of Melissa. Can we get a close up of Melissa?
Yeah, this is Melissa right here.
Right, and put on some on that shot of Melissa. If you could put some like sexy music or something that really tells us, hey,
yeah.
This
is a hot girl right here.
That's a hot girl right there.
Yeah.
And the way you're handling her, you really are confident.
I'm trying to frame her in the right perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways, so what they do on these shows, and maybe you know this too, it's because technically it's all reality shows. They'll be like, Melissa, Howie's been talking shit about you. What are you gonna do that? This is national TV. You're gonna let someone defame your image like that? And you might have said nothing. I know you said nothing, but you get a reaction out of this person who is young, drunk, and doesn't have a lot of experience being on TV, so they don't know the infinite impact of their image being put on, the internet. or the waves of TV. I knew what was going to happen. And also, no offense, but it's like, the people that are control that.
Don't hang on to her.
Oh, yeah.
Please. No, it's just there's a family. I think I got a family audience, and the way you're holding her is just really uncomfortable.
Melissa, I'm sorry. But yeah, it was just like that. It was like I didn't want other people in control of my image like that.
Would they give you alcohol?
They give you alcohol every single night.
Did you drink?
No, I didn't drink. That's another thing. I didn't drink. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't.
Did they try? Okay. So, but isn't the idea of that show where they've done some sort of beforehand? They've talked to all of you, and there is somebody that is the most compatible, and you have to match the person you're compatible with.
Yeah, but I was lying the entire time. I was like, oh yeah, I'm this type of way. I was like accentuating parts of my personality so they would pick me, And there's other people on the show that do that too. Like, there was this one guy that literally did nothing, and like some contestants that are like more grounded, I think they'll literally get into the house and go into the bathroom and start crying because they don't understand what they've signed up for, like, because when you go into a place and it's like 20 new people and
so you played the game.
Exactly. So I played the game, but I didn't play the game. I just like what would happen.
You played them.
Yeah. Well, the thing is they played me too. They made me look not great in some light, but I needed money at the time. So I was like, okay, whatever I get negative like press, whatever. It's like one of my ethos is like I don't give a fuck about what people think about me as long as I'm moving forward. So when
you're like a motivational speaker for young people. I think you are, right? Don't you think so?
Well, I mean,
I don't give a shit as long as I'm moving forward, Mr. Tinder Cups.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Tinder Cups. Honestly, put that on a shirt. Put that on a shirt.
Yeah, Mr. Tinder Cups says fuck college.
Yep, Mr. Tinder Cups says fuck college. Mr. Are You the One says fuck college. Mr.
Is that a song? That could be a song.
Yeah.
So you won, and by winning, what does that mean? You found the person that they thought was most compatible with you.
Yeah, you found the person. I don't know if it's real or fake or not. What the all I know is.
Did you ever date her? Did you actually go out with her?
She was having sex with the person that. Another person in the house the entire time. It's all fake. I mean, for me, anybody that I had a relationship on the show with was fake. If some people that were really trying to find love or relationship on reality TV, I question their motives and IQ a little bit because I don't understand how that they can come to that. What I'm saying?
I always see that like on The Bachelor or something. They always go, I don't think he's here for the right reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no shit. It's on TV.
That's where you're going to find your soulmate is on national TV.
Exactly.
But did you get so how many women on that show did you sleep with?
None of that was another thing I told before I went on. This is why I'm saying I scammed it, is because I didn't drink, I didn't have sex. All I did was when things happened, it would cut to me and I'd go, "Whoa, that's crazy," and then or like that's wild. I was like the that's wild commentary guy. You know what I'm saying?
And that's it.
That was it.
And you got $50,000 for that.
Yes. Well, the thing is, there was like 7 rounds of casting. You still had to do a lot of interviews, but the thing is, interviews don't faze me. I can talk to anybody. That's another thing. Like,
well, you're a really good speaker. So you got that 50 grand. The show's over. Next step.
Next step. Yeah, I would just go to AGT. I literally was trying out
and
for that.
And we said no.
You guys said no. Like that was a yearly thing.
Do you remember the song that you?
No, it was bad.
Do you have the guitar here?
It was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad. I don't know it, but we have the guitar.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know it?
No, because it was that bad. I just forgot it.
So then you decided music.
Well, I was doing that. I was being an extra in music videos. That's when I was doing stand-up comedy. It was like I had the money, but all the money allowed me to do was just try different things. So
Are you an extra in a big, well-known video?
Do you know the song "Feeling Good"?
Yeah.
Like I should. I'm an extra in that video. It's Surfaces. I actually collaborated with them in a song called
You did?
Sheesh. Yeah.
Now, on your album?
No, not on my album. We just did a song together. But
Is it on their album?
Yeah, it's on their album. Yeah.
Wow. Here, hand it to her.
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not?
So that's, wait, so that's Feeling Good? You're in that video?
Yes.
We should pull up the still of that so that we can see you.
It's really quick, like bits and pieces. I was also in Top Gun, whatever.
The new movie?
I wasn't in it, but I was a stand-in. So like the tall black guy, I forget his name, the dude from Insecure. I would stand in his spot, and as they would go through rehearsals of the shots, right? You've been on,
the lighting was on for you.
Yeah, the lighting.
The lighting and the angles were based on you, even though he was in the movie.
Exactly, and also I got to meet Tom Cruise and see his, him ride up in his, his motorcycle. It was crazy.
Did you talk to him?
Yeah, I talked to him and I was like, dude, respect what you're doing. He's like, yeah, and he probably didn't understand.
But it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but it doesn't matter.
Did you mention the Tinder cups to him?
I wish I did.
I wish you did too.
He would have invested.
You would have. So this is my entree to you was, I thought, and it might be just the scam of it all. I saw you just sitting around the house or the apartment on TikTok, and you look like this freshly minted college kid who was just writing. Even your music, for me, I love your music, but it sounds very real. You know, you're just talking about things that are happening in your life, and you have this easy kind of flow that just it's almost like, and that's why I thought at the beginning of this conversation when we were talking about comedy, I feel like, you know, comedy is really a rhythm. And comedy is finding your rhythm. You know, I think comedy and music are very, very close. The difference is, you know, the same. The comparison is, we sit around and have a thought and kind of put it together in our heads, and then we have to go and stand in front of an audience and elicit, you know, a response every 3 seconds. Whereas you could put your thoughts down, repeat the same thought 4 or 5 times, and wait for the end of the song to find out whether somebody's going to click on it again, share it, or applaud. But it's kind of the same thing. The first one that hit on TikTok, and I commented, and you commented back.
Yes,
you told me your mom is a fan.
Yes, or I think so. I don't know. This is like 2 years ago, and I was responding to every single person.
Oh shit.
So no, but when I saw you, no, but like. But here's a really,
you know, you bullshitted the one and only. You bullshit all these other people, and me, you got to be honest with, and just kill my feelings. Why are you doing that?
Here's the thing. I'm just saying, for marketing perspective, I was also responding to every single person that commented on my videos because Gary Vee told me to. And then when I saw you, I was like, this is working.
V.
Exactly.
I follow him too.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. But the first song that you clicked on, that I clicked on, was what? What was the first song that
probably
blew up
heard
on?
Stuck in the Middle, maybe.
Yeah, Stuck in the Middle.
Yeah.
So that just seemed like it was so easy to listen to and made so much sense and seemed so effortless. You probably did you work on it a long time?
No, I didn't work for that long. I worked on it. I think I wrote that song in like 2 hours, and then it was right after I had a conversation with my brother.
How do you make money without working hard?
Exactly.
2 hours. You're talking to your brother. Go ahead.
I was talking to my brother, and he was like, you have to write songs. He wasn't like, you have to, but it's like, because I was making music before that. I had made 6 songs previously that weren't good. I'd made music with my friends, and it was not going anywhere specific. But when he talked to me, he was like, your lyrics are just not, like, he was pushing me on my lyrics. Like, you have to say things that people.
Is he in music?
No, he's not. But he's my brother and gives me honest feedback. And I think that's the most, like, you probably know as a comedian, honest feedback is the thing that kind of pushes everybody forward. And he would give me honest feedback, and he would say, like, your words don't make me want to listen, or like, what's next? Like yes, and, you know, like that type of thought process when you're writing lyrics. So it was like, okay, what's something that I'm going through right now? She said, you're a player, aren't you? And I bet you got hoes. What is the rest of that story? People want to know what the rest of that story is.
Did somebody say that to you?
Yes. You know?
Didn't you tell her you didn't have sex with anybody on the show?
I mean, that's just different. Those are different things. You know what I'm saying?
I'm putting them together.
Exactly. You know, the puzzle pieces. Yeah. But yeah, it was basically like me trying to be.
So to pick up the guitar and just, but just say at the same time. So you're thinking of that. You had that one line.
So the thing is, another internet thing is I didn't play the instruments on this. You know, I found it like Lil Nas X did when he found Old Town Road. He was on the internet searching through beats on YouTube, and that whatever that beat is, he found that and just used it, recorded his voice over it. And like, I did the same thing. I found this whatever. That little bass line that goes in the front of the song.
Right.
I heard that and I was like, that's money. That's great.
That just lives alone on the internet?
Or lives alone on the internet.
That's called a stem, right? Or
yes. It's like producers will put their stuff on the internet hoping that people will use it, or they'll sell it without having somebody own it, and they'll like rent it out. They'll rent out their beats for money. But if you're a big enough artist, you can buy the beat and have it for exclusivity, right?
So you hear that beat.
I hear that beat on YouTube
and
for 2,000. Yeah, for 2,000 views. It had 2,000 views on it, and that's how I mean that like music is accessible to everyone. You just have to have an internet connection, really try, you know?
So what did you click on to find that? You just said, I want to.
Well, I was searching on the internet, like different types of like band, like if there were, a lot of people at the time were making like trap beats or hip hop stuff, like,
Right.
but I wanted to find something that was more like indie music type of vibe. I was into indie music at the time. So when I searched, I was like, is anyone making it? And not a lot of people were, but this one guy, he lives in France. His name is Red Mosque, and he's awesome. And yeah, I just loved his stuff. I still, work with him now.
Do you work with him?
Mm.
So when you do that and you put the line to it, do you have to pay him for that?
Yes.
What kind of money is that to pay him?
So
because he's not a well-known, produced.
So there's two different types, right? If you don't buy the exclusivity rights, it's like $200 and you can do whatever. But if it gets a certain amount of streams, you have to start like amping up the amount of pay that you give.
But you didn't know that, so you gave him $200, or did you just?
Yeah, so I gave him $200 in the beginning just to.
And you had that one line.
Oh no, I had the entire thing. I stuck in the middle of lovers and friends and losing.
I want to hear the writing process. I'm fascinated.
So basically, it was like the whole point of this song was that like when I went and made it, it was so natural. And
that's what it sounds like. I mean, as somebody who doesn't
like
really
having
know
a
music,
conversation.
I find all your music like that. You are
Yeah.
like but you're a singer and an amazing singer and an amazing performer. And but it seems like, as somebody who can't even carry a tune, so effortless. And I'm sure you put a lot. Well, maybe you don't put a lot of effort.
Well, I put a lot of effort into making it sound effortless because I think there's a lot of music that I listen to where it's like I would not say that ever. If you hear a song and you would never say the lyric, it's not going to be your favorite song for sure. That's
so.
You know what I'm saying?
But you said with that one line. You could put that mic. Maybe if he puts that mic near the guitar, should he do that?
Oh, are you guys ready?
The other one. Well, I'm just so we're talking. Just the second mic, right? What's her name again?
Melissa, we called her.
Melissa. Put Melissa down by your guitar.
Okay, Melissa. But
There
like
we
with all my songs, it's kind of like she said, "You're a player, aren't you? And I bet you got home." I said, "You don't know me like that. I just go with the flow." She said, "You can't fool me like that. You're gonna leave me on red." Yeah, I said, "Why don't you try me on out? I know you wanna be friends." But friends turn into sleepovers, and sleepovers turn into love. Love turns into jealousy, and now we both fucked up. It's just a conversation.
That's amazing. That is
Right?
so fucking amazing. You're like
Yeah.
a poet, a comedian, an actor, a model, and it all comes through in one song. Is that all based on
my
your-
real life? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
every song that I've ever written, I've experienced, and I think that people can hear that in my music because I'm trying to like convey my perspective and like get people to know me as an artist.
Well, I'm telling you, you're blowing up like huge. You really are. And so that's the first one that's the one you put up, and within the first day you had like 80,000 clicks on, right?
Yeah, that was the first time that I experienced virality too. I had seen it. I was also a child of the internet. I watched Justin Bieber as he was Kid Rahul on YouTube and turn into Justin Bieber.
Right.
I watched Shawn Mendes from Vine turn into Shawn Mendes. I watched DJ Khaled from Snapchat turn into DJ Khaled. And then when I saw TikTok come around and I saw Gary Vee posting like, okay, if you're an artist, this is where the new shit is. And I was like, and my brother said the same thing. I was like, dude, you got to do the TikTok thing. I was like, all right, let's do it. And then I did it. And because I had experience, I had made it my own podcast. Like I've made a podcast like this. I had been in front of cameras. I had been in front of I was on set with like Tom Cruise. I had the personality to be on camera. So it was like I had video editing skills, and I knew how to edit myself. Like there's a lot of people that go on TikTok and they don't hold eye contact with the camera, or they don't feel easy, or you can see that they're kind of like induce cringe-worthy emotions in the audience. And I was very, very particular of my image on the internet. So like when you see me in those old videos in the car, I'm like holding eye contact. every single one of the lyrics that I put on the.
So for people
Yeah.
that don't know, just to catch my audience up, that's another thing. I see you in the underground garage, just sitting
Yeah.
in your guitar,
Yeah.
just sitting in your car, singing these songs. And I thought, I don't even know if this guy's a professional musician yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But somebody needs to sign him.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs to take this because this is really, really exciting. And I always felt like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's, I think, your brand. You have this backstage pass to what you're doing and who you are.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when you
yeah.
went on that festival, I said, you said something like, 2 weeks ago I was in the underground garage and now I'm on this stage in front of these
Yes.
thousands of people. What festival was that?
It was Lollapalooza. My first show ever was in front of 30,000 people.
Yeah. What a way to break
Yeah,
in.
yeah. And I had done like a small show, like a small DIY show with like a guy guitar player, and it was like 12 people on a beach. But that wasn't really a show. It didn't have a band. It didn't have like, the lights or whatever. It didn't have the crowd. But after that, I went from like 12 people to, 30,000 people.
30,000.
And if we're saying like in that car, that's where I practiced for 6 months every single day on my singing voice because, like I said, I wasn't practicing.
Why in the car?
It was the only place I could go. I was living in a living room at the time. Oh, we'll talk about after the show, right? So a lot of people after that Are You the One show, they, spend it on like Gucci or they went to the club. I've been to the club less than 20 times in my life. I look at a lot of things as like athlete. Like I know what it's like to be something special because I've seen NBA players be special. I've seen those processes. So when I look at music, it's like I know what it takes to be special. Like I've seen like the comedians that I've seen make it out of the scene really put in the process and are really grinding. They go to those open mics every single day. I know what it takes to be special because I've seen it in various different forms. Even podcasting. Like I saw Logan Paul do his first podcast, and now it's the number one in the world, right? Because I saw how much he, the production of it. Put like you right now, you're putting production. My production.
Logan
was
does it when he was in town before he built it. He did it here in this room.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like the production, investing in collaborating, networking with people, like
Right.
all that stuff. And that's why I put the time and the hours. In that car was like, I know there's like a certain type of magic dust that people say, listen to music in your car. It hits differently when you listen to music in your car. Like that's another thing that people say. So it was kind of like a collaboration of me doing something that I loved at the same time as a social media thing was blowing up that I happened to be good at,
Did you start? How long did it take before?
By the way, do we have water? I need water.
We got water.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get some water. You can have it. Do you guys want water too? 3?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, 3 waters in
3
here.
waters. Oh yeah, hello. Hell yeah. Fuck
Yeah. Who are these guys? Who's that?
So this is content right here, and this is tour manager right here. So I'm just.
And isn't it weird that
Yeah.
they have names that actually match?
I know,
what
but
they do?
I wanted to explain the jobs really quick.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
High content.
Okay. So basically, I have content because I think that as an artist, you need content to give context. Like you said, that backdoor patch. This is Brandon, by the way.
Brandon is doing content.
Yeah,
Scott is the tour manager.
Yeah, yes. But I have content because it's really important to show people who you are as an artist, or they will not buy in. As a tour manager, it's really important to have a good tour manager because if you're on tour and you're unhappy, that shit will burn you out so you can't be creative and stuff like that. I'm trying to give advice right now like I know shit, but I think I do. I really do. I think I know.
I
how to
like
do
your
this right.
confidence. You do know stuff. This is my tour manager.
Thank you. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. This is Rich. Rich and I have been working together for like 30 years. And he came off, you know what tour he came off right before he joined me?
What's up?
You did the Dangerous tour, Michael Jackson's Dangerous.
That is crazy.
He was,
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
And then can you imagine going from Michael Jackson to me? It was hell. I don't know how he was able to keep up with that.
Wow.
But anyway, but you do know a lot beyond your years and beyond your time in this business. So that song hits. That was the first one, Stuck in the Middle.
Yeah,
Hits.
so that song hits 3 years after I was on Are You the One?
Yeah.
Right? So people kind of were forgetting about it. Like I had followers from the show that were like looking for content from the show. Like I'd get DMs asking like where my match was and stuff like that.
And she's right here. You're playing your guitar into her.
I'm playing guitar into her. But yeah, it was just a process of me going through those ups and downs and me singing every single day. And then COVID hits. And that's another thing that we have to talk about is that like other artists stopped releasing music and Black Lives Matter happened because that really took away the power that mainstream artists had. Because if you're, I don't know, Ariana Grande or Sam Smith and you put out a song and you're promoting your new song while all these social issues were happening, it didn't seem like a very like, socially conscious thing to do. But startup businesses, aka me, if you look at it like that, people were like, "Oh, this guy's just trying." It's like it's hard times for everybody. It's like it was very relatable. It wasn't like I was like singing in my mansion, right? You know. And then after that, I did the. I don't want to tell my mom I smoke this weed. I don't want to tell my dad he'll call me weak. I don't want to be the blackest of the sheep. Listen their card every single week. I don't want to say. Sometimes I do drugs, not hard ones, just ones that change my mind up. Drugs can't find us. If you think I'm gone, I'm just doing drugs. Yeah, so basically, those first two songs, yeah, exactly.
Do you smoke weed?
The first time I smoked weed was in college. I'm not even like the biggest owner, but like it kind of tells the story of like me realizing that after I didn't want to play in the NBA anymore, I was like, okay, I guess I can try weed.
Are you answering honestly, or are you talking to me like you explained it to your parents?
I'm answering completely honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully, I don't. I mean, I smoke weed now. I smoke weed now,
Yeah.
but back in the day, I was like having issues about like what is good and what is wrong, and I think a lot of people that are young have that thing. Anyways, those first two songs, both of those gold, RI certified. And
you're putting them on TikTok
Spotify.
and
Yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Can you make money when you don't have like a label or anything?
Yeah. Well, right after.
You drop something. Your
water?
water?
Yeah.
Right there. Right under your girl.
Yeah. But right after I dropped Stuck in the Middle, the industry right on it. They have this thing. What are the homes that do TV ratings? What are they called? Nielsen.
Yeah.
I think labels have this like Nielsen programming where if anything on the internet is getting a certain amount of buzz,
Right.
then it pops up, right? And then they can call whatever and they can figure out who it is. And then I was getting those calls.
Who called you?
So I had this guy named Ryan Chisholm, and he was with this brand called Work of Art Management. He manages Mike Posner and Trevor Daniel. And I looked at those people and I saw 1 billion streams for both of those people. And I was like, this person has been through it all. If you've been through these.
Is that the first guy that called?
First guy, yeah.
Wow.
And then after that, it was, let's figure out what the labels are offering, and that was when I first got introduced to the industry, how things worked, how much you need a lawyer, how much you need to know what your artist project is before you get into, these projects. So that's when I got into the industry right after the first song. And then I wrote Drugs after that. And it kept the momentum going. I released a song called Bad Bad News. We'd have some cute kids. And then I did,
I like Bad News. We'd have to.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
And I remember you explaining that as far as that's what's going on in your head when you look and see some hot-looking lady coming toward you.
Oh, no. We would have some, yeah. I've seen your face and we would have some cute kids. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Don't look at me like that when you say that.
But
so those blew up. He calls you. He says, "I want to manage you," or does he say, "I want to produce for you"?
Manage me. So I needed a manager. I'm also like, even though I dropped out of business school, I think you just have to look at your own business and say, what do you need? And I definitely need someone to manage, what I am doing, right? So he was managing me. He set up producer sessions. He set up like
producer sessions. So he would put you with a producer.
Yeah, put me with producers. And the producer that I got introduced to was the guy named Adam Friedman, who I co-produced my first album with, and who I made Drugs with. This loop is him. He made this loop. And then I was the one who was like, I don't want to tell my mom I smoked this weed.
Wait, he made the loop? He's a producer, but he's also a musician?
Yeah. A lot of producers are musicians. They specialize in either guitar, drums, or something, or a mixture of things. But like when we were talking to each other, it was like a really cool relationship because he was another guy who believes in honest feedback. A lot of people in the music industry, there's not a lot of honest feedback going on, and I can tell from, if you listen to a song and you're like, I don't know if this doesn't feel cool. It's probably because there wasn't a lot of honest feedback in the room. Like, hey, maybe we shouldn't make it this weird melody or say this weird thing that feels very of the times and it doesn't feel timeless. Like, a lot of that is just like a quick grab for maybe it goes viral and it's a hit. Now it's money,
So he gave you this loop.
Yeah, he gave me this loop, and it was basically like, He didn't really give me a loop. We were making it in the room together, like all the things we made in the room together.
How long does that take?
It makes like we made drugs in maybe like a day, and then we like refined it. Yeah.
And then when does it? From that day, when does the world hear it?
After that, it takes. We promoted Stuck in the Middle so hard.
When you say promoted, what did you do?
I made so many videos. I made like 80 videos to Stuck in the Middle on TikTok. That's why you probably saw me. It's because I was like documenting me leaving my job. I quit my job. I was working at Verizon at the time. Yeah, exactly.
I saw that on
TikTok.
Yeah,
exactly. And
so when Stuck in the Middle is getting all these streams, I don't know what is it. Are you making big money right away? How fast does it take for money to come in? Because what I've been reading about is artists are not thrilled. And I'm not putting you in a position to say anything with Spotify or that, but it's tough to make a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to know where you're going to get your money from and how to get your money and what to spend it on. I think
is it mostly live?
Mostly live, but also like it's whatever you want it to be. I think that, the industry can take advantage of an artist because a lot of artists don't want to look into the business of anything. That's why artists have this commentary of like, oh, the business took advantage of me. I mean, not the business, but the industry took advantage of me. It's because they've never.
Give me rather than just talking blankly. Give me what piece of advice would you give a young person who has an idea for a song and they put it up and then it hits and somebody calls them? What's the major thing that you?
I own all my masters and all my publishing, and I'd say never give that up.
So Mr. Friedman doesn't have a piece of that?
No. How producers work is you pay them like a fee, like you pay them like whatever their producer fee is. It could be like from $5,000 to $20,000. If it's a guy who's made a lot of hits, it could be $40,000. It could be $50,000, right?
And you're paying $40,000 for what? What does that person
for
do?
The production? Basically, it's like studio time, the equipment you're using, it's like that. That is how a lot of these deals are done. Every artist, doesn't matter if you're Demi Lovato, doesn't matter if you're me. You're paying a producer that fee.
You're saying for studio time, do you really need a studio? Like, I mean, can't you just...
Studio time is like if I went over to his studio and the fact that he has this equipment that he is professional at, I have to pay for the fact that I'm even putting stuff on his DAW because he's curated his sound in that way. It's kind of like, like you don't pay somebody, the fee isn't reflective of the time you put in. The fee is reflective of what the work they've done in the past, like that type of thing.
So you own all the publishing and you own all that. So and I think the next thing as I read with these catalogs is people can take your music. Has anybody done this yet? Because it's relatively new and used it in a movie or a television show or re-recorded it and made it trying to make it their own or sampled it. Has that happened yet?
Yeah. So my music has been in commercials. It's on Monday Night Football.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been in movies, like this Netflix movie called Man on Toronto with Kevin Hart. It's like the end credits song. I've just made a song for that. And a lot of the industry is, deciding what you want to be, take part in. And I think I wanted to try everything just so I know what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do.
What do you want to do?
I want to make art. And I think that was lost in translation in the beginning of my artist project. And I think relatability took the helm of what my artist project was in the beginning, where it's like, oh, you saw me and you're like, oh, I relate to this guy. But in reality, like, I'm not that much of a relatable person. Like, yes, I understand what is happening around me, and like, yes, you can relate to my experience and stuff like that. But like, I'm not gonna lie, like, a lot of the people that make it in the industry, they're privileged. Like, I have this business acumen behind me, backing me. There's a reason why I can play in front of 1,000 people now and got off of the internet. Some artists can't play in front of 100. Some artists.
But you're still playing
on
the internet.
Yeah, I'm still playing on the internet because I know what promotion is supposed to be for.
Tell me about your family. What do your parents do?
My dad owns a car dealership in Washington, and my mom is a stay-at-home mom. But she also used to work. She used to do taxes, and she's a substitute teacher and stuff like that.
Wonderful. And your brother, is it just one sibling?
Yeah, one sibling, and he works up at that dealership too.
Okay.
Yeah, so
he's older?
Younger than me.
Younger than you?
Yeah.
Did he aspire, because he seemed to give you input into your art, does he aspire to be an artist?
No, he just wants money, which is great.
Really? So cars, I think there's a future in cars.
Well, I mean, the richest person in your neighborhood is probably a car dealer.
Yeah.
In a lot of places, yeah.
Yeah. So your dad does really well. Did you grow up with money?
Well, no, the thing is, it's like, the amount of black car dealers in the world is very small. Like, guess how many Mercedes-Benz car dealers there are that are black? Guess. Just give me a random number.
In where?
In America.
In all of America?
All of America.
Is there 50?
4.
There's only 4.
Yeah.
Owned dealerships.
Owned by black people. Yeah. So it's like, yes.
Is that what your dad does, Mercedes?
No, he does Toyota. But like those premium stuff, it's really hard to get in there, man. Like it's really hard, especially with the way that society's set up. So when you have a man who's trying to like be an entrepreneur, that's what I have in me, in my DNA. Not a lot of people can relate to that. Somebody who's broken into that industry and like the type of conversations that we were having at home. There's a reason why I got off. There's a reason why I'm here right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why I don't think anyone is better than me. Is because of my family and the way of the ethos. You know what I'm saying? Of like saying like it doesn't matter what you look like. Like if you try, we have given you the tools and the abilities to compete with anybody and everybody at the same time.
They got to be proud, are they? Are you close with your?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's impossible not to be when you've put a lot of time into something. It's like, of course, you're gonna be proud of the thing, you know.
Which of your songs is the biggest hit? Is the most?
The song A-OK.
A-OK. I love that. Can you play it for us?
And then the reason why it went viral is because I'm literally just yelling in my car at you. It's like, living in this big blue world, with my head up in outer space. I know I'll be A-OK. I know I'll be A-OK. When I see trouble come my way, I'll be making lemonade. I know I'll be A-OK. I know I'll be A-OK.
That's amazing. Do you find now that you've had these, I think it's like 3 or 4 massive hits, do you feel added pressure now to follow it up and beat whatever you've done before?
No, because I think a hit is relative, right? Like I'm going to have things that people would consider a hit. Like in 2 years, I'll have, 6 plaques, and A-OK will be double platinum. And I think that when you have that type of perspective on success, it makes me feel like I've already done a lot of the things that other people aspire to. That's why I think it's art. Like I'm really trying to go for. Like when I look at this thing behind you, I really consider that art because I worked really hard on it.
On the album or the cover or
on
all
everything.
of it? Yeah.
I do the merch. I do the cover art. I do the music.
What do you mean you do the cover art?
I make the cover art. Yes.
You design that?
Yeah, I design this. I have a creative director. Her name is Bianca Nickdow, and we work together on these cover arts, and we fucking kill it. Yeah.
So what was the verbal instruction for what you were looking for this cover art?
I think a lot of creative process comes down to 90% editing and 10% process. So like in creation. So it's like if you have something, we just did a shoot and I was like, okay, what is this album about? The second album is about love. And I just, it's very obvious with that, smoke heart. But like, what can you not do with love? It's like, sometimes it's like right out of your reach. Even if I grabbed that heart, I'd still fall. Why am I reaching for something that's not even there?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. To me, it was just a picture for a cover. But when you kind of describe it, it's even more interesting. There's so many layers. And how do you communicate that to your following? Or you don't have to. You need your own story.
Yeah, I really struggle with it just because I think that like if I tell you the end answer, it's like, is it art anymore? I just told you your interpretation. If you have your own interpretation of what it was, like even if you just thought it was like a picture, it's just like that's your interpretation. Some people might look really deep into it, And I think that's.
But doesn't everybody care when it comes to music specifically? I wonder what the meaning is. I wonder who that girl's name is. I wonder what happened to him.
You might care, but there's who doesn't care?
No.
Karen in Kansas. She goes to the Walmart and she listens to the radio and she goes home and she's probably 40 years old and she likes music and she just doesn't like. My mom is that Karen. She doesn't care about music at all. She
really doesn't.
She doesn't care about music at all. Like. I'll
what
tell
about
her,
your music?
She doesn't care. She stopped listening to the first album, like 6 months after. She's like, that's just, you got to make another one. You know what I'm saying? I'm the same way. You got to make another thing. Like I think that having that type of relationship with music is a good thing, because it's not like you can sit on your haunches and be like, okay, I'm done. You know, it's like, just keep making stuff. You know, that's the whole point.
I like your attitude, but I don't understand those Karens as you
You don't understand?
No, because I think that I feel like even though you're singing and you're playing, I feel like when I listen to the radio or I listen to music that you're like comedy, you're talking to me. You know, I just know even in comedy, people come up and they like that bit I did, but they have to believe that what I'm talking about is an actual experience.
Yes.
And it's my view of that experience.
Yes.
And maybe my view is kind of a lilted, funny, weird view of an experience. Your view is a rhythmic, beautiful, soulful view of a real life experience. And whether that's your relationships or whether that's your life right now, or whether you're just okay, or you just do the drugs that nobody should really worry about.
Yeah, exactly. I think that for me, that's the reason why I broke through into that. Like how you get into the radio. Do you know how radio works in terms of how they put songs on the radio? Like which I think is like, I don't know, man. I think that a lot of things happen in the industry that people just don't even understand what really happened. It's like I was a person that didn't have any connections to the music industry.
Right.
And I got on the radio. And I wasn't the only one. Curtis Waters with the song Ice on My Neck, That's Coming, I'm a Pretty Boy, I'm Stunning, Salem Elise, Mad at Disney, Claire Rosencrantz, Backyard Boy. A lot of these songs that went really big on TikTok transitioned to car wash radio. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear it to mall radio, the radio that you hear everywhere. And how they do that is through familiarity. And they do tests and they call people and they say like, okay, do you like this song? All right, cool. Are you tired of this song? Okay, cool. And do you want to hear this song again? You know, like, and if you have a lot of people saying, I'm tired of this song, it's called burn, right? And when you have burn, that's how things start to drop off. But if someone says, oh, you want to hear the song again, then it goes up the chart. So with A-OK, it was during coronavirus. Everybody was like trying to feel something, right? And I think that song had feel in it. And that's why people, you know, I think it got up to number 12 on, you know, top 40 radio, which is great accomplishment. And I think that like,
is that something you strive for now? Because I personally don't really listen to radio anymore. I stream my music. I don't know. And even in my car, I don't turn on. I'm an old guy, but I used to listen to the radio, you know, on the way to work. I don't listen to the radio. So as a young musician, do you strive for radio play?
I didn't understand what the music industry was when I first got into the industry. So when I was talking to everybody, I was like, I'm going to make this thing the biggest in the world. And I didn't really give anybody context on what that was. Now I understand that my ethos is in my experience translating into art. And when we do have big moments, making it very efficient on how we capitalize on those moments. So do I want a radio hit to happen? Not really. But if it does happen, like not really, yes, you want it to happen, but you have to do it through the lens of my creative, through my decision. Because when you go into these label meetings and you have a bunch of songs, they are going to be like, we like this song the most. Are you going to listen to that person? If it's something that you made, but you have to curate your own experience, right? If you listen to that person and that song goes on the radio, and now you're on the radio and singing a song that you don't like, why do you think so many artists burn out? You know, like, because they're singing music that wasn't curated by them.
How often are you writing?
Often.
You write every day?
Not anymore because I'm on tour, which is I'm upset about. But you know,
you're upset about being on tour, being in front. I get that more than being on radio. That you want to be in front of people live. Are you enjoying it?
Tour is also something that you need to curate. When you think about an experience, my new lawyer told me that The Weeknd never played in specific cities. He played in you know, Chicago and New York at the beginning of his career, because you have to invest in your show and give people an experience that you that is worth it. Like, I don't take time lightly. If you're gonna come see me at a show, it needs to be a show. Every person on my band is an experienced hired gun that's been playing with me for 2 years. We have, if you go to a festival right now and you see my show, you're gonna be like, that guy is better than half of the people on the sheet, because I have the best band. I do have the best drummer. I have like my band leader is the best. You know, like this team that I have acquired together. My tour manager is the best. You know, like, this team is something that you need to take to places that people will come to. And I think that when you have like I have to be in control of everything. Like
in order to be in control and having a team like you're talking about and a band like you're talking about, that takes a lot of money.
It takes a lot of money, and that's how you get it, like with labels and stuff like that.
Are you with a label?
Yeah, I was with I am with Arista Records.
Okay.
And so with that money, right, you kind of be like, okay, what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to go buy a house or are you going to invest in your own project? I invested all of my money into my own project,
Do you still live in somebody's living room?
No. Oh, that was the first thing I did, actually. I lived with a roommate until a week ago. You know what I'm saying?
Serious?
Yes.
Is this roommate a musician?
No, he's just a roommate.
Just a roommate. That's his professional job or her professional job.
He's like a model, does like serving and stuff like that in LA.
Right.
But like for me, I'm telling you, like I don't spend money. Like all the clothes that I have on right now, free. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like they were given to me on credit. Like I want my artist project to be something that is uninhibited by other people's opinions, by just run by creative, but that is really appreciative of art. That's what I've been trying to convey. And I think that in the beginning of my process, I missed that a little bit, based off of how excited I was that everything was so cool. Like when you're a person that's never been in the industry and you've seen America's Got Talent, you've seen Are You the One, and you see like, these aren't the coolest things, but I watch movies. I've seen Interstellar and that's cool. I've seen like...
But the word cool is not cool. If you're trying to be cool, you're not cool.
Yeah.
Cool is defined in the moment.
Yes, you're so right. But I think that ownership is cool. And I think that will always be cool. And I think that there's some things that no matter what, will always be cool. The longevity, the evergreen stuff. Like the evergreen stuff, like when we listen to September by
Earth, Wind & Fire.
Yeah, Earth, Wind & Fire, that's always going to be cool. Like if you listen to like Miami by Will Smith, you're going to go in the club and you're going to be like, yo, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but there was no thought involved in the making of those pieces of art about being cool. They were just really authentic to whatever they were thinking or doing at the moment.
Yes, and I think that curation of art is really special because...
But it's kind of like comedy, if there are people who are really funny.
Yeah.
And they're really funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people that you watch that look like they're trying to be funny.
Yes.
And if you're trying to be funny, even if the actual colors and words and sounds are coming out that are funny, there's something missing because it's not authentic to who they are. And that's what I responded to most in you. And that's why I wanted to sit down and talk to you, because I find you incredibly authentic. And also meeting you, I find you even more impressive than, I liked your songs and I thought you were cool, and I thought that it was great, but I think that you're even more impressive as a young person, and they should people need to listen to this and listen to the philosophy behind success, and you are a musical Gary V.
I mean, I'd say that in the beginning I definitely was. Yes. Gary V's so awesome to me. I think that the way that he is...
Have you met him?
Not in person, but I've definitely Skyped with him, and I had a whole conversation with him, which was really cool. But I think that his main mantra or whatever for kids is to realize that like you can do things and make decisions earlier than you think you can. Like as an 18-year-old, if you don't want to go to college and you think that you're going to half-ass it, just tell your parents like, this is not for me. You can always go to college. You can always go into the thing that you want to do. Like,
fuck college.
Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck college and drink Tinder coffee.
Drink Tinder coffee.
It's it is amazing. But I agree with that. My philosophy, I believe in Nike, and that's just do it.
Just do it.
Just
and then
do
afterwards, it. Afterwards, figure it out. Like for me, it's always like throwing it at the wall, and then I think my process is throwing it at the wall, and then kind of getting some white out and being like, maybe we don't do this because it makes me feel not as good as when I do this part, And that's the thing with this next part of my artist project is what I'm really going to dive into is like taking the next level of curating every part of the experience of getting into my artistry, because how can you not see a bump in efficiency and experience when someone is really caring about the experience? Like not everybody cares about the experience every single time. Like I'm not going to hate at all, but like sometimes artists will do things for money. And as a pure example, it's like if you play a show and you're getting more money than you are getting experience out of the show, then I think you're compromising your art. And I am putting myself in a position to, I will never do that type of show. I will never do that type of, that's the thing. I've been doing it, but that's the thing is like going through this process and curating things so that when I go into a space, I know that if I am getting money, that the experiences match that amount of money that I'm getting compared to money experience, which I think a lot of artists will do this and go down all the way.
Well, what happens, and not to knock what you're saying, but I'm at my point in my career. I've been doing it for 45 years. I love doing stand-up. I love being in front of a live audience and hearing that, and I get paid really well for it. But I don't know that I'm getting an experience, my own personal experience. I just love it, but I don't know that I'm being so artistic and growing so much as compared to the amount of money that somebody's paying me to show up.
See, that's the thing is like, I mean, this is a good conversation to have just because
that's why I'm having it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that if you are enjoying the process of going and doing that and seeing, I
love it,
then it makes sense. But for me, and also comedy is different because you don't need, do you have a set?
A set act?
No, sorry, not a set, but like a things that you put on stage.
No, I used to have more. I like less just because it's easy for me to travel.
Do you know? Are you comfortable telling me how much your show costs to put on?
Nothing. You put me in a room with a flashlight and a microphone, and I'm okay. Yeah. I'm not putting together a whole show.
Yeah,
it's not a production.
My show is probably 20 times more expensive than your show.
Well, my bar is set really low. If you've got $20 in the production, you are 20 times more than me.
Exactly. Okay, so then my show is 1,000 times, 20,000 times fucking more expensive. And that's the thing is that like, if I'm gonna do a fucking show, this has to be a show. You are standing in, people are fucking standing for 4 hours. I hate standing. I never went to concerts. I never went to festivals. The fact that people are in a mob, you know how it is. Like,
no, I know about the shows. Listen, you mentioned September. I was an opening act for Earth, Wind, and Fire on the Pyramid Tour.
Lying.
No, I don't lie.
Oh,
I was on the Pyramid Tour.
That's
and I was
fucking crazy.
Yeah, it didn't go well for me, but I love them, and that was huge production. And they had great pyro and tech,
exactly.
and everything. But for a comic, I don't know if I want flames and screens, and I just want you to really focus on me.
Yeah, exactly.
And my words.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really, really, with comedy, you can do that. I just saw fucking Bill Burr up in Canada. I sat next to him on a plane, and then he invited me to a show, and I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool.
In Montreal?
In Montreal, yeah.
Yeah, he went to JFL.
Yep, exactly.
You know, that's I'm a partner in that festival. I own that.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Just for Laughs, where every comic comes from. So
yeah.
That's been my business for a long time.
Yeah.
I want them to bring music into that.
Ooh,
we should talk.
Okay.
We should talk. But anyway, I know that you have a show tonight. I want to promote everything for you. Do you have for all your dates? Do you have your own website?
Yes. If you go to taiverdes.com.
They can see everything.
I don't even know what it is. I don't really like to promote. Like, listen.
Well, then I'll promote it. We'll put it.
No. How about you don't promote it and just see what happens? Have you ever done that before?
It's too late. You mentioned the name of the website. So
okay, Tai Verdes is not the name of the website.
He could change his name at any time.
Yeah, I can change my name at any time. We don't even know. I
don't think that that's an experiment that's fun. Listen, you've been smart and amazing and very impressive up until now. But this moment of saying, let's tell them not to promote it, or I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think Gary Vee would agree with that.
Yeah, but that's
I don't think the tour manager or content would agree with that. And I don't know who are the other people in the room. You brought it like you have a whole team. What does that guy do with the beard?
Where? Lex. Lex is here. Lex is my personal guy. He helps on stage, and he's like a
personal guy.
Yeah, and also he gets me anything that I need, and also he helps my tour manager right here do anything that he needs. So he's kind of like a all extended type guy. He can do whatever the fuck.
He's overextended. Yeah, an all extended kind of Lex. Lextended. Anyway, buddy, I said this before we went on the air. I'll say it before we get off the air. I love you. I love your work. I will continually listen. And if I hear of something or see it, I'm going to promote it. I'm going to not try your experiment.
Watch. I can tell you that just because every artist and every person and every business is different, that if you put time into it and you put enough thought process behind it, You can sell anything.
You know, you're a dichotomy, because you started off this with saying, I don't have time. And then you're telling people to put time into it. So you've confused
for the
time.
things that you love.
How did you enjoy this podcast?
I love it.
It's over. So this is the after. What did you think?
I mean, I think just experiencing another person in a way of like real, unfiltered conversation.
No filter. There's no editing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. What I'm saying, like, real conversation is something that not a lot of people get to do, especially with someone like of your
my
caliber.
stature.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I was going to say, I love that you appreciate how lucky you are to just spend this quality time with me. And I hope that the listeners and the watchers kind of appreciate what it's like that you clicked on this and you do it. But this is an amazing. Is this your favorite podcast ever?
I mean, this is the first podcast I've done in a long time. I think the last time I did when I was in Europe. So
it
this
doesn't
is
answer
be great.
the question.
Oh, I was about to say, it is my favorite. Oh, Howie, come on, don't do that to me. But
you bullshitted everybody on the one and only, or the only one. Why can't you bullshit me?
Howie, this has been my favorite podcast.
Ever?
So
there's the cold opening, people.
This has been my favorite podcast ever.
Do you want to hear the theme song as we go
Do you have
out?
a theme song?
I do.
What's the theme song?
What do you think of this? Hey, use this as the riff for your next. Sing to this.
Whoa.
No word.
Okay. Oh, it's like you're going for cinematic a little bit.